And each person was very strange back to me. They're like, I don't understand why you can't just give me a link. I'm like, well, I can't just give you a link because I want to know more information about what you need so I can make a recommendation. It would not be, in my opinion, it would not be wise of me or helpful to you if I just said, hey, yeah, go here and buy my thing. What if it's not something you need? Hi. Today I'd like to tell you a little story of something that happened more than once in the last 24 hours in my world. But before I do, go to 4dayprofitrace.com. That's the number 4, dayprofitrace.com, and get my free, totally free diagnostic course so you can make more money without working so dang hard. And it's super fast and super simple, and it's going to blow your mind. So that is number 4, dayprofitrace.com. So this podcast is sponsored by a CRM company called Connect Experts with an X. It is a CRM, which is a customer relationship manager software, plus about a bajillion other really cool things. And it's actually my own software with a business partner. So I don't really want to talk about the software here because that's not the point of this podcast. This point of this podcast is to help your dog business thrive. But I wanted to tie this into one of the concepts that I talk about a lot, which is what are you selling and who are you selling it to? And what kind of information do you put on your website and what kind of information do you not put on your website? So some very kind person, the question was asked in a Facebook group about, hey, does anybody have a CRM that they recommend? And a friend of mine who actually uses this CRM and really likes it said, hey, you need to talk to Sherry Boyer about the software she uses. So it was in a group where one of the group rules is don't post other links to other things. This group is for this thing only. And so they're like, hey, I need a link. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm not going to give a link in the group because we're not supposed to post links. And I don't want to break that rule. It's not my group. It's someone else's group. I really want to respect the group's rules. So then people started messaging me saying, I just need a link. What's your CRM? Blah. And I'm like, well, so this is the deal. I want to ask you a couple questions before I give a link to something. Why do you have to ask me questions? Why are you being so mysterious? What's all of the secrecy about? And so I asked a question back to every single person who messaged me, and there was crickets on the other end of it, which I thought was very interesting. So this group that somebody recommended the software in kindly is a group for a specific type of a product, but it's not a product. So how the product is sold is not through a link that anybody gives someone. It's sold from person to person. And there's some education behind what that product is before people buy it. And so I asked each person who messaged me, so I have a question for you. When somebody asks you about the products that this group is talking about, do you send them a link? I'm doing an uncomfortable pause here because that was the response. There was no response to that question. The responses were all like sort of blaming daggers at me for not sharing a link to the CRM that somebody had recommended. The reason I said to each of them, the reason I don't just share a link is I'd like to ask you some more questions about what you need, because maybe my CRM software is not what you need. Maybe you need something else that's a little more simple that only does 2 things, like gathers a name and lets you email them or something. I don't quite know. Or lets you just track the number, like automatically track the people who come into your world. And that's all I don't know what you need. So I'd like to ask you questions. And each person was very strange back to me. They're like, I don't understand why you can't just give me a link. I'm like, well, I can't just give you a link because I want to know more information about what you need so I can make a recommendation. It would not be, in my opinion, it would not be wise of me or helpful to you if I just said, hey, yeah, go here and buy my thing. What if it's not something you need? And so It's fascinating how so not the philosophy, the psychology of how people how they sell something, but also how they buy something, always fascinates me. And so when I did my podcast on don't put pricing on your website, like the reasons why I would not advise putting pricing on your website, I had so many people reach back out to me and say, like, they emailed me, they messaged me, they were like, I don't know if I agree with that. I'm like, well, that's cool. You don't have to agree with that. If your experience in selling a service is such that you can just put a price there and have people immediately buy it, that's really cool. In my experience, I would rather create a connection with somebody and develop a trusted relationship, because my prices are not going to be the lowest ones in town. And also, they're not buying a product. They're not going to Amazon and comparing the prices on a specific type of supplement. Like, that's what I buy at Amazon, buy supplements. They're not looking at what they used to call dupes. Like, here's Lululemon, which is this price. They got Lulu dupes, right? The things that are the fake Lulus, which I think they removed, but I don't know. Like, we're not selling leggings. If you're on this podcast listening to me, it's either because you're my friend or you have a dog business that is selling services, not a dog retail store or a dog online e-commerce store with products. You're selling a service to people who are paying you money to deliver the service for their dog. So I also have a free Facebook group called Dog Business Success Community, and I welcome you to join the community there. It's very supportive, and I have more free trainings and some amazing interviews with very successful dog business owners. Some are on building their third and more facility, many of them millionaires. Most of them started out with absolutely nothing. And so just go to Facebook and join my group, Dog Business Success Community. Like, when you go buy services, do you buy them based on the price? If you need a plumber, do you go like research plumbing prices? Probably not. If you're going to have your bathroom remodeled, do you go based on the cheapest estimate you were given that you had to get because there was no pricing on their website? You may do that. You may regret that. I don't know. But services are usually not sold in the greater world with pricing on a website, right? I was talking to a friend about this earlier, and they were saying, yeah, but maybe it's like buying a car, you have a car that you want to buy, and then you might go look at another dealership and find something. I'm like, that's a product, honey. That's a product. It's not a service. We're selling daycare, boarding, training, pet sitting, dog walking, grooming. This is all a service that a human has to deliver, literally do the manual labor to deliver the service. It's not like we can just push a button, buy something online, and have it delivered to us based on it could be the same brand, but we found a cheaper price somewhere. That's a different kind of selling than what we're talking about. So I think people misunderstand a couple of things in my experience. And I'm not saying anything other than maybe there's a misunderstanding of buying, the psychology behind how people buy something. Service buying is different than product buying. When people in the industry that I talk to say, well, I want my prices on the website because when I go to a website, I want to know what they're charging. And I'm like, well, what are you buying when you do that? Are you buying dog training? Are you buying dog boarding? If you go to a dog boarding website and one place is, like I used to charge, $35 a night, and another place is $65 a night, are you going to buy based on the $35 a night or $65 a night? If you're my kind of people, you're going to buy the $65 a night one, because it gives the idea, the perception that it's more valuable. But people if they're going to your website and going to talk to you or fill out your contact form or whatever, based on your pricing, then they are shopping as if they are buying a commodity, a product, something that they could compare the pricing over. And I would like to think in this industry that we are not selling a commodity. We're not selling something that is even comparable. If you are delivering a really amazing service and really high level of care for these dogs, that is worth money. It is worth money. And if someone is going to decide to go to someone else because they were cheaper, I say we let them. So I was just thinking about how, like, the reason I wanted to talk about this was I was thinking about our own buying behavior versus how we are selling or could be selling something. And the story, like the people coming after me because I wouldn't share a link to go check out what I have so easily, was so fascinating to me. I'm like, well, you're selling a thing. It's actually a product, but you won't even share the link to your product because the product is so new and so different that you want to educate them. So if you're going to be educating people on a product before you sell it, I am also allowed to educate on my service, my CRM. It's kind of a product, but it also comes with a service because we help people build out what they need within it, because every business is different and all of their needs are different. And I want to make sure we can help them with their needs. But like it's not a CRM that I want people to go, like, oh, let's go look at the top 10 CRMs and find out which one's the cheapest thing we can use. Da, 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 da. Like, those aren't my people. My people are people who want the best thing that in the entire world, in my opinion, and want help with it so that they can use it in the best way for their business, such that they are spending less time doing all the things they were doing before, and they can do the other things that they really love to do. So not sure if I went kind of all over the place with this, but it is a very common topic of conversation. Like, well, I would like to compare prices before I buy something, so I'm going to sell that same way to people, is very interesting to me, because I think what's missing in that thought process is, what are you comparing prices of what you're buying? Is it a book? Is it a medication, the prescription that you're looking at? Like, I have a medication I take regularly. It's a thyroid hormone. I kind of need it to live. I like it. I look at the pricing. That medication is cheapest at a specific place with the Good RX coupon, right? That's already in the system. Why would I go buy that same thing somewhere else and pay $25 more for it? It's a commodity. If I can get it cheaper and I know it's the same thing, I might as well get it there. But if I'm going to be having a service done, like, let's say car detailing services are pretty popular around here, mobile detailing, they'll come to your house. I don't ask them what their pricing is. I ask my friends for a referral, or I see like somebody's QR code on the side of their van or whatever. I click it, go to their website. Might not be pricing. They don't give you pricing all the time because they want to come see your car and see how dang dirty it is and how much they're going to have to do. Is it going to be a full detail? Do you have mold under the console? Like, what kind of detailing are they going to have to do so they can quote you what they're going to do for you? And in fact, they'll often tell you, this is our starting price, but I need to see your car. So how is what we're selling in this industry a service? How is that any different in my mind, right? How is that any different? You're going to have to see the dog before you might be able to say, if you're boarding and not doing any training, you're boarding, but somebody brings you a super anxious, very barky dog. You can decide whether you're going to board that dog or not. Now, if you want, you can do like I did. Finally, when I wised up in like 2011, I'm like, I need to stop this. I need to charge more for these problem dogs because they're going to take more of my staff's time to care for. I put in a specialized care price. It was probably double what any of my other pricing was for boarding, and people were so happy to pay for it. But we only got to that price because we did an evaluation on the dog. We're very honest with the people. They could try to choose the lower priced option, but they couldn't buy it because in our expert evaluation, their dog needed something at a higher level. And almost 100% of the people that we recommended that to bought it. And so if we were going just based off of, send me a link, I'm going to decide what kind of dog boarding I want this time, and it's going to be the cheapest option. Thank you. No, we're not selling that. until we have brought the people into our world. We've created trust with each other, developed rapport, all of that amazing stuff. We now know what to quote them to charge them. And instead of them just making a decision based on a price on a website, comparing it to other facilities or whatever in the area, right? Goes for grooming as well. I speak with a lot of groomers who are like, oh, there's no way I could charge that for, let's say, doodles. Doodles, in many groomers' opinions, in my opinion as well, need to be groomed on a regular basis, right? To keep the mats out. And most owners are not brushing their dogs in the proper way, so they mat. So if you're going to be a doodle groomer, you're probably going to require they come every 4 to 6 weeks, is my guess. A lot of people don't want to require that. They're like, but they're going to go somewhere else if I require it. Let them go somewhere else. Let them get their dog, their doodle, shaved down to an entire pelt, dog-shaped pelt every 6 months. Let them do that. Let them deal with those people. If you were going to be recommending to somebody, hey, I need to see your dog. I need to ask you a lot of questions about your lifestyle. Are you hiking in the woods a lot? What kind of, like, how often are you actually brushing them? And I'm going to say, this is a dog that I'm going to require this often of a groom for. If you can't keep to that schedule, please don't even book this one. Like, there's ways we can set limits and boundaries with people and make a lot more money and stress a lot less. Like, so many of my groomer friends are like, well, I don't want to have any more of these every 6 months or once a year doodles coming in because I have to shave them down. And then we have a matted pelt. And I'm like, well, why are you accepting them? They're like, but they'll go somewhere else. I'm like, let them go somewhere else. Let them go somewhere else. And you be the boutique place that requires certain things because you've had conversations with people and they understand why you care so much. And now they're willing to pay you more because you care so much. Right? The people who have listened to me and put this into place, who are like, yeah, I'm not going to just give you a link. I'm not going to let you just book. I want to meet you and talk to you first. I want to see what we can create for your dog and your lifestyle that's going to suit you best. Those are the people who love that are the people who are going to stay with you for forever, pay you more money, and they're going to be happy to pay you happy to pay you more money for what you deliver, because it's not a commodity. These are living, breathing, sentient beings that require a great level of care if we're going to be doing this as a business. In my opinion, I say this all the time, we should get paid for it, right? So I started off with a story about some people who insisted I send them a link. I'm like, I can send you a link, but I don't know if this is going to help you or not. I don't know what you need. You might need something really simple that, I don't know, you might as well use a Google Sheet, maybe track your people. But if you want something that has all the bells and whistles and make your whole life easier, we can do that. But let me ask you some questions first. If you are asking people questions about their dogs on your form or however you talk to them, and not just shooting them pricing, but getting to know them as people, getting to know their dog, their dog's personality, their dog's needs, their needs, you're going to have those people come back to you for forever. So if people don't want to answer your questions, they're probably not your people. You have been listening to the Thriving Dog Business Podcast with Sherry Boyer, a 7-figure dog business owner. Subscribe to us to get more proven tips to boost your profits without working yourself into the ground. And we have new episodes every other week. To get clear on how to make more money in less time, go to 4dayprofitrace.com to get my exclusive free, very short course.